And we'll do it live. We'll do it live. I know I'm in a bathrobe. I don't have a lot of time to make a video, but I want to talk to you about the Romans and how they've been burning down U.S. cities and trying to kill white people since around 1790. The Romans, the Romans, the Romans, the Romans, the Romans. Now, because I've been around right-wing circles and neo-Nazis and KKK groups on the internet for a long time, I've been listening to what these people have said, and they've all been focused on the Jews. They've said the Jews are behind this conspiracy to kill off the white people and the Jews and the Jews. And there's some Jewish people that foolishly became the leaders of this. People like, what was that lady, Barbara Specter, that came out and said that Jews are going to be at the center of this big revolution, all this kind of stuff. So it got everybody focused on the Jews. But the truth of the matter is that no one can see the Romans. And the Romans have been doing this the whole time since 1790 when they backed the Haitian revolt to ethnically cleanse the white rule from Haiti. And they still have offices in Haiti. The CIA has an office in Haiti right now. In fact, remember the guy that tried to shoot Donald Trump at the golf course? He was working with a CIA operative in Haiti. He was working with a CIA operative in Haiti. The guy that tried to kill Trump on the golf course was working with a CIA operative in Haiti because they're still operating out of Haiti. And there's some weird thing with all these people going to Haiti, and you've got Adam Schiff going to Haiti and Hillary Clinton going to Haiti. And it's just, there's a lot of weird stuff surrounding Haiti. And this is a whole network. So the reason I'm doing this quickly, this video, is I was just listening to Glenn Beck replay of one of his shows, and he's talking about Black Lives Matter and how they were burning down cities, and then after he goes through about how horrible it is that they're burning down cities and destroying civilization, he says, and what do the Democrats have to say about this? And this is the problem. He doesn't know. Glenn Beck doesn't know, and it's like, I feel like it's my obligation to tell everybody because I want to actually win. I don't want to just talk about this stuff. I actually want to win. I actually don't want to be under this Roman system anymore because it's you can't live under it. It's a death cult. It's a big genocidal, suicidal death cult. And they totally control the left. And the left, like when you see the Democrats and the progressives, and they're cutting off their genitals and they're cutting off their breasts and they're transitioning their children and they're taking all the drugs and they're wearing the mask and they're injecting themselves with all kinds of dangerous UN mystery shots, and they're pushing it in the media. See, they're just going with the Roman program. The right wing are like, hey, this is a bad idea. But see, the problem is the right wing, the Republicans, have all kinds of Roman Catholics all embedded throughout the Republican Party, which is the so-called right. In my opinion, it's all the Republican Party because it's a Republican system. The Democrats lost the Civil War. So it's the Democrats, we call them the Democrats, okay? But that's the left wing of the Republican Party. The way I'm looking at it is that the Roman Catholic Church completely, like when you see the left, the progressive left, doing all the anti-racism stuff, doing all the Black Lives Matter stuff, doing all the BLM stuff, doing all the abortion stuff, doing all the inject yourselves with UN mystery fluid stuff, doing the lockdowns, doing the masks, doing the riots, doing the protecting all the migrants, doing all the migration, protecting the gang members that are here from some other country that are here, and the president of the United States trying to get them out. See, those people that are doing all that, they are the people who are just going with the Roman program, 100% on board with the Vatican. You have to look at it this way because this is how it works. The command channels are, I hope my volume's not too high. The command channels are Rome, the international unions, and the Democrat Party. See, that's how they control the left, right? The Democrat Party is totally controlled by the unions. Okay, so the unions control the politicians, and the politicians work 100% with the unions. Okay, and so then you have, and so the program that you see the Democrat Party implementing, which is Black Lives Matter, Antifa, progressivism, cut off your genitals, cut off your breasts, transition your kids, wave rainbow flags everywhere, burn down your cities for anti-racism, kill the white people, all that whole agenda, wear the mask, that whole agenda. That's just going full speed ahead with the Roman Catholic agenda for America. That's the Roman Catholic agenda for America. And that's what that is. So it goes from the Pope through the unions, the international unions. The reason I emphasize that is because you can have a union if you just have to, if you want to form a union. My recommendation is don't join one that's international, because you're just going to be implementing the agenda of the Pope. But you're like, but that one has all the power, and if I want to make a living, I got to join that one. Well, then you're going to sell out your country. You just don't really care about your future. You don't really care about anything. You're so desperate that you're willing to just sell everything off and sell everybody else off. So you're just as bad as them, right? So what I'm saying is, if you want to form a union, or we need laws in America that say there are no international unions. You can't have a union that's based overseas. Nothing can be outside of our sphere of influence, which is Rome. The Romans installed Joe Biden. So anyway, what I'm saying, all the left-wing progressive stuff. So you think it's the Jews, and you've been told it's the Jews, and everybody's focused on the Jews. Now the Jews, like the Jewish mafia, the Zionist stuff too, they all have a special interest. They're a special interest group. So they're kind of like in the bag, right? And what they're doing aligns with what the Pope actually wants for places like Ukraine to fight with Russia. And he wants that territory. They've made some deal with the Zionists or whatever for the territory in Israel. So, but that's like a separate thing compared to see what the Jews are trying to do by getting you to support Zionism stuff. That's one thing. But the thing of BLM, LGBT, refugee programs that are designed to annihilate your country, that's all run by the Pope. And so they have Jews in there so that when you start to get mad at it, they put a Jew out in front and the Jew takes the blame. That's what the Roman Catholic Church has been doing this whole time. So what I want to do is I really want to get in touch with people like, I'd really like to have live debates with Jake Shields or Nick Fuentes or Lucas Gage or E. Michael Jones or any of these other Catholics, Steve Bannon, any of these other Catholics that like to blame all this on the Democrats. See, this is the root of the problem. Glenn Beck was just doing this. He doesn't know. He's a Mormon or whatever. He doesn't know that this is all run by the Catholic Church. He doesn't know. He's run by the CIA. They're not going to tell him. The CIA is run in, maybe, I don't know how it is now. No, because that Radcliffe guy's in the charge of the CIA right now. I think he's probably pretty good. I don't know. What I'm saying is, as long as I've been around right-wing circles, the focus, and I did this, and I believe this too, because I couldn't see the Romans. I could see the Jews that they were putting out there that were saying, we want to kill the whites. And then this is all get retweeted and retweeted and retweeted and retweeted. So then everybody starts to really have hatred for the Jewish people, right? And they're like, and you should join the Roman Catholic Church. You should join us. We love Jesus Christ. We're the Romans. And then you get these people and they're promoting the Pope. It's like the whole agenda comes from the Pope. It's been like, you got to understand what I'm telling you, man. This whole agenda of ethnocide against white people all over the world has been coming directly from Rome the whole time since the Haitian Revolt in 1790, right? That was the first. See, before that, they were using white people to attack other white people. Then they started using blacks to overthrow white people with the Haitian Revolt. See, that Haitian slave revolt, those slaves were owned by the Roman Catholic Church. They're the ones that encouraged them to overthrow the white rule because they're still going to do business down there. They're still able. They want to do business. They want to get rid of the white rule, and they did the same thing in South Africa. They did the same thing in Rhodesia. And then they did the same thing in America in the 1960s. In the 1960s, they incited the quote civil rights movement, and they used that to overthrow white rule. And then they did the same thing in South Africa. They did the same thing in Rhodesia. They're doing the same thing all over the place. And see, like you've got these white nationalist guys out there in Australia who I like, and they're like, "Oh, it's the Jews, the Jews, the Jews." Well, I'm sure there are Jews involved, but it's not. They're not the ones running the program. This is what I'm trying to say. Yes, there's Jews involved. Yes, so you've got Jews, you've got Muslims, you've got atheists, you've got communists, and they're all supporting this agenda. But the agenda comes from Rome. It's a Roman agenda. It's a Roman agenda. It's been the whole time. Look, all the neo-Nazis and everybody, they think that the Jews run Antifa. It's not. There are Jews involved in Antifa. That's true. But the Romans run Antifa. Antifa is a Roman thing. It's something invented by Rome. It's always you got and you're like, how's that possible? It was the Romans that established the aristocracy. But then you got to understand. See, I'm trying to explain this to you. The Romans wanted to get rid of the aristocracy because they started to want greater autonomy. They wanted to get separated from Rome. Even the Catholic kings, they wanted separation from Rome. So the Romans had another group that they could use, and that was originally the Jesuits. But it's not just the Jesuits anymore. Now it's the Jesuits and the Unions and the Antifa and the BLM and the Jewish Mafia and the Muslims that they're bringing in, the ISIS, Al Qaeda. They're all that. They all are forwarding a Roman agenda, right? The reason the Pope wants to bring Muslims into Sweden is because that forwards a Roman agenda. Let me explain something to you. All of Northwest Europe in the 1800s, they were all under a Protestant federation, that got wiped out by who? Antifa. Antifa took it out, and Karl Marx took it out. See, or they tried. See, Karl Marx tried to take it out in 1848 with the He was a Jesuit. He was trained in a Jesuit school with a bunch of Jesuits to overthrow the king of not the king of England, the king of Germany, and his Protestant federation that was all over the Nordic area, that whole Daneland and up Northern Federation. That was all Protestant. That had to be taken out by the Roman Catholic Church. So they used communism and they used Judaism. See, that forwards their agenda. That's the Antifa model. The communists and the Jews and the Jesuits all. It's a coalition of different groups to take out their enemies. So this is the situation that we're in Western white. I don't even call it Western. That's the Roman term. Okay. See, West versus East. That's Rome versus Constantinople, or that's the Romans versus the Greeks, and that's the Romans versus the Eastern Orthodox Church. I don't want to play that game. No. The origin of the white race and our whole religious philosophy comes from Athens, and it comes from Egypt, and it comes from the Code of Israel. So it comes from Israel, which was in Egypt, and it comes from Egypt before that, and it comes from Athens. That's the center of our philosophical roots, Athens, and from Athens you go down into Egypt, and you go down and the Code of Israel. So that's it. It's really Athens. It's not Rome, and it's not the Romans, and the Romans are not. So here's what I'm trying to say: the whole BLM, LGBT, progressive, cut off your genitals, transition your kids, take the drugs, take all the psychotropic drugs, all the LSD that they're pushing. This is what this is what Alex Jones doesn't get, and Joe Rogan. They're pushing hallucinogenic drugs, and Roger Stone pushes hallucinogenic drugs. He's Catholic, by the way. He's also a complete degenerate. I'm not saying that Catholics are necessarily degenerates. A lot of my Catholic friends are good people. What I'm saying is they think it's the Jews. My Catholic friends think it's the Jews doing all this. My Catholic friends want to support Rome and the Pope because they think it's the Jews. And this is how they're recruiting. This is how they're recruiting right-wing people. Right? Oh yeah, those Jews are terrible. Join the Romans. Join the Romans. It's a Roman. The Romans are the ones behind the whole thing. They're the ones literally behind the whole thing from the beginning. They're the ones that set up the Hasmonean dynasty in 140 BC that became the Pharisees and the Sadducees that kill the king of Judah through the line of Judah, which is the royal line. But that's to me that's a story. To me that's an allegory. To me that's not literal. So anyway, it's the Roman. So to recap, the Roman agenda is to bring in all the Muslims to kill you and bring in this dark age cult where literally Muslims aren't allowed to read history books. I made another video about that. I'm not going to go into that in great detail, but Muslims aren't allowed to read their own history of their own regions in Syria and Iran and Lebanon and Canaan and like in Egypt. Like Muslims are not allowed to read their own history of the places where they live and the ancient Akkadian language. They're not allowed to read those books because they contain the old gods. You can't know anything. It's like communism. It's like Catholicism. All the history is destroyed, and you only know what the Pope tells you, or you only know what this stupid book written by a pedophile in Arabia tells you, right? You don't know anything else. You don't want to know anything. You want to be stupid, right? You want to be an idiot. See, this is the perfect Catholic system. Everybody's mentally deficient. That's a good way to, I think I can use that term. They want you to be stupid and follow the stupid shit. Okay, that's not Jesus Christ. That's not. See, Jesus Christ is the Logos, the light of God, which is the intellect of the universe. Jesus Christ is the intellect of the universe. See, that's what Jesus Christ is, not a man. Jesus Christ is not a man. Jesus Christ is the intellect of the universe. That's the thing that you want to be part of.